In human metabolism, every aspect of muscle growth, recovery, and long term physiological resilience depends on how energy, substrate, and regulatory molecules flow through the system. Nutrition is the control interface for that system. It sets hormonal tone, provides structural material for protein synthesis, and determines whether the organism operates in an anabolic or catabolic state. Protein, fat, and carbohydrate are not philosophical categories, but biochemical inputs that must match the body's adaptive workload and genetic tolerances. Protein supplies amino acids for actin and myosin repair, enzymes, and signaling peptides. Dietary fat modulates endocrine balance and cell membrane fluidity. Carbohydrate maintains glycogen stores that fuel high intensity contractions and regulate thyroid and leptin activity. Micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, trace elements, serve as cofactors that allow every enzyme in these pathways to function. When muscle hypertrophy is the goal, the organism must operate in an energy surplus sufficient to drive protein synthesis beyond baseline turnover. This surplus cannot be achieved in a chronically depleted hormonal environment. Total dietary fat intake strongly influences that environment because steroid hormones derive from cholesterol and because fatty acid composition directly affects the signaling lipids that control inflammation and recovery. A moderate to high body fat percentage, roughly in the mid 20s for men, often coincides with the most stable testosterone levels and with adequate leptin to maintain metabolic drive. Below that threshold, cortisol rises, reproductive hormones fall, and muscle protein synthesis becomes inefficient. The optimal range therefore reflects not aesthetics but physiology, enough stored energy to sustain anabolic processes without the chronic stress signaling that accompanies extreme leanness. Animal-derived proteins provide the full spectrum of essential amino acids in ratios nearly identical to human tissue. They supply creatine, carnitine, taurine, and other nitrogenous compounds that directly support muscle energy metabolism. Plant proteins can contribute, but require careful combination and higher total intake to match the anabolic potential of animal sources because of differences in digestibility and amino acid completeness. From a purely biochemical standpoint, high quality animal proteins, eggs, meat, milk, and fish, remain the most efficient substrates for tissue repair and hypertrophy. The critical variable is total daily intake, which should exceed 2 grams per kilogram of body weight during active growth phases, distributed evenly to keep muscle protein synthesis stimulated. Dietary fat underlies hormonal stability. Saturated and monounsaturated fats from ruminant animals, eggs, and marine sources support steroidogenesis, while excessive omega 6 polyunsaturated fats from seed oils shift the balance toward pro inflammatory eicosanoids. The human endocrine system evolved in an environment dominated by animal fat, marine omega 3s, and minimal processed oils. Replacing these with industrially extracted plant oils introduces oxidative instability and can impair recovery. Cholesterol itself is not an enemy in this context, but a precursor necessary for testosterone, cortisol, and vitamin D synthesis. A diet too low in fat compromises these hormones and limits the signaling needed for muscle growth. Carbohydrate acts primarily as an energy substrate and a regulator of anabolic hormones. Intense resistance training depends on glycogen as the primary fuel. Depleted glycogen elevates cortisol and impairs training output. However, constant hyperglycemia or processed carbohydrate excess can blunt insulin sensitivity. The optimal approach is dynamic. Periods of higher carbohydrate intake clustered around training sessions to refill glycogen and support thyroid function, balanced by periods of lower intake to maintain metabolic flexibility. Whole starches, fruits, and root vegetables deliver glucose with accompanying micronutrients that refine this balance. Micronutrients and trace minerals are the invisible scaffolding of metabolism. Magnesium, zinc, and iron regulate hundreds of enzymatic reactions related to energy production and protein synthesis. Zinc and magnesium in particular sustain testosterone production and sleep quality. B vitamins, obtained abundantly from red meat, eggs, and dairy, act as coenzymes in energy metabolism. Vitamin D, synthesized from cholesterol under sunlight, integrates calcium homeostasis and muscle function. Its deficiency is associated with reduced strength and impaired recovery. Iodine and selenium govern thyroid hormones, which set the metabolic tempo for every cell. Because modern agricultural soils often lack these elements, sourcing nutrient dense animal foods and mineral rich salts becomes essential. Hydration and electrolytes link every metabolic subsystem. Water provides the medium for cellular reactions, while sodium, potassium, and chloride maintain electrical gradients that drive muscle contraction and nerve conduction. Intense training demands not just replacement of water, but precise electrolyte balance to prevent intracellular dehydration that would otherwise reduce protein synthesis. The idea of avoiding salt is misplaced for athletes. Sodium is required for nutrient transport and intramuscular volume retention. A truly systemic nutritional model recognizes that all of these factors interact. Energy balance defines whether the body builds or dismantles tissue. Macronutrient quality defines what kind of tissue predominates. Micronutrient sufficiency defines how efficiently those transformations occur. Too little energy or fat leads to hormonal suppression and muscle loss. Too little protein halts repair. Too few minerals or vitamins stalls the enzymatic machinery that makes the entire process work. Muscle hypertrophy thus emerges not from any single nutrient, but from the coherent alignment of energy intake, macronutrient ratio, hormonal health, and recovery time. In this framework, the goal is equilibrium, not ascetic restriction or reckless excess. A human organism fed on complete proteins, natural animal fats, unprocessed carbohydrates, and mineral rich water, maintained at a stable body fat level around the mid 20s, exists in a state of abundant anabolism. This environment supports consistent strength gain, immune resilience, and mental stability. Any deviation that starves the endocrine system or overloads it with synthetic additives pushes physiology toward fragmentation and fatigue. True nutritional optimization is therefore the restoration of harmony between ancestral metabolic design and modern availability, executed with precision rather than ideology. Sure, here's a simplified explanation of the main terms from that dense scientific text, rewritten so that an average person could understand what each concept means and how it connects to building muscle. Metabolism, the process that keeps you alive. It's how your body turns food into energy and repairs itself. Anabolic, catabolic. Anabolic means building up, like building muscle. Catabolic means breaking down, like losing muscle or fat. Macronutrients, the three big groups of nutrients you eat a lot of: protein, fat, and carbohydrates. They give you energy and materials to build your body. Micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. You need them in small amounts, but they are essential for your body's systems to work correctly. Amino acids, the tiny building blocks that make up proteins. Your body uses them to repair and build muscle tissue. Hormones, chemical messengers in your body that control things like energy use, muscle growth, and fat storage. Examples are testosterone, insulin, and cortisol. Steroid hormones, hormones made from cholesterol such as testosterone and estrogen. They are very important for muscle growth and recovery. Cholesterol, a type of fat that your body uses to make hormones and repair cells. It's not all bad. Your body needs it in balance. Cortisol, a stress hormone. A little is fine, but too much from overtraining or undereating makes it hard to build muscle. Leptin, a hormone made by fat cells that tells your brain you have enough energy stored. If you have too little body fat, leptin drops and your body slows down to save energy. Creatine, carnitine, taurine, natural compounds found mostly in animal foods that help with strength, energy, and muscle recovery. Digestibility, how easily your body can break down and use a food. Animal proteins are usually easier to digest and use than plant proteins. Saturated, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated fats. Saturated fats are solid at room temperature, butter, beef fat. Monounsaturated fats are found in olive oil and some animal fat. Polyunsaturated fats include omega-3 and omega-6 fats, fish oil, seed oils. Too much omega-6 from seed oils can cause inflammation. Inflammation, when your body's immune system is active for too long. Short bursts are good for healing, but chronic inflammation hurts recovery and health. Omega-3 and omega-6, types of polyunsaturated fats. Omega-3, fish, eggs helps reduce inflammation. Omega-6, seed oils can increase it if eaten too much. Insulin sensitivity, how well your body handles sugar. Good sensitivity means your body uses carbs for energy easily. Bad sensitivity means your body stores more fat. Glycogen, the storage form of carbohydrate in your muscles and liver. It's your main fuel during workouts. Hyperglycemia, when your blood sugar is too high, happens if you eat too much sugar or refined carbs. Metabolic flexibility, the body's ability to switch between burning carbs and fats for fuel. A flexible metabolism means better energy and recovery. Coenzyme, a helper molecule that allows enzymes, the body's little machines, to work. Many vitamins act as coenzymes. Mitochondria, the parts of cells that turn nutrients into energy. You can think of them as your body's power plants. Vitamin D, made by your skin when you get sunlight, important for muscles, bones, and hormone balance. Electrolytes, minerals in your body fluids like sodium, potassium, magnesium that carry electrical charges. They're vital for muscle contraction and nerve signals. Hydration, keeping enough water in your body so all systems work properly. You also need salt with it to keep balance. Endocrine system, the network of glands and hormones that control metabolism, growth, mood, and recovery. Oxidative stress, a kind of wear and tear in your cells caused by free radicals. Antioxidants from food, like vitamins C and E, help limit this. Energy surplus, eating more calories than your body burns. You need this for muscle growth. Energy deficit, eating fewer calories than you burn. You lose weight, but it can also slow muscle growth. Enzyme, a protein that speeds up chemical reactions in the body. Every process in your metabolism uses enzymes. Metabolic drift, when your metabolism slowly changes over time, often getting worse due to stress, bad diet, or toxins. Anabolism, building and repairing tissues, the opposite of catabolism. Homeostasis, your body's natural balance point. All systems are always trying to stay within healthy ranges. Hormonal tone, the overall balance and activity of your hormones. A strong anabolic tone means your hormones support muscle growth. Systemic model, systems level, a way of thinking where you see the body as one big connected system instead of looking at parts separately.